Hello, how are you? Welcome to Cooking with Gremlin. It's 12 a.m. and we're making banana bread. If your family's anything like my family, you probably have quite a few frozen bananas in your freezer. So grab those bananas, thaw them out, let's make some good banana bread. The list of ingredients and measurements will be in the description of this video in case you want to follow along. So, let's get started, shall we?
Ring, 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 banana phone.
So, if you have bad time management skills and you decided to take out your frozen bananas at just about the same time I did, then your bananas are probably still fully frozen. So, I'm going to pop mine in the microwave to defrost, and I'm going to put them in for 2 minutes on one side, flip them over, 2 minutes on the other side. Just really make sure that you push the defrost button on your microwave so that you don't, annihilate them. So you're going to need 2 different sized bowls, one kind of medium and one larger than that one. This one you're going to be adding everything into, since it's the larger one, obviously. And the other one is, I'm pretty sure, going to hold your dry ingredients, since we're putting dry into wet ingredients usually, like always. So we're going to put dry ingredients into the smaller bowl, and we're going to put our wet ingredients into the larger bowl. And as you can hear in the background, my bananas have finished their first 2 minutes of defrosting. Also, everyone's microwave is different, so it's not like I can fully tell you how long it's actually going to take until your bananas are fully defrosted. But if they're still, kind of frozen, but, they're mushy enough to be able to mash up, then that should be good. And you can just start from there then. The easiest way to mush your bananas is to cut them into slices, and then you can either use a potato masher. I usually use a fork because I find I like to make my life more difficult, even though I have a potato masher, I just don't use it apparently. I went to 7-Eleven to buy eggs, and they didn't even have eggs. So, I'm going to tell you what you can use as an egg substitute. Today I'm going to be using a mixture of baking soda and vinegar, which shouldn't affect the taste of the banana bread at all, but I guess I'll keep you updated on how it tastes afterwards. Other types of substitutes for eggs that you can use is more mashed bananas. You can use unsweetened applesauce. You can use yogurt, and the microwave's going off again. 1 second. So we're going to grab out our butter. I'm using margarine, but you can use softened butter, like if you take it out of the fridge earlier, then it'll be softened. We're going to use 1 cup of butter, since I'm doubling the recipe because I have a shit ton of bananas. Everything I'm doing today is going to be doubled, but I'm going to put the normal recipe in the description because then I can just confuse you a bit more, apparently. Okay, so we're going to put the butter into our big bowl. Alright, so my first bit of bananas are finished defrosting. It took about 6 minutes on each side in 2-minute intervals. So, but then again, everyone's microwave is different, like I've said before. So it may take longer for yours and it may take less, but mine are good to go. I just need to put in my last 2 bananas because my microwave wasn't big enough to fit all 6 of my bananas. I'm using kind of medium-sized to large bananas. You're going to need 3 if you're doing a normal recipe. I'm doing ×2, like I've mentioned, so I need 6. So, just a shit ton of bananas. We're gonna add our granulated sugar into our bowl with the butter. You're needing 1 cup if you're doing normal recipe. I'm using 2 cups though. So, let's do that. Yes, I poured myself a glass of water, went to 7-Eleven, and completely forgot that I had a glass of water, grabbed myself a big gulp, and now I have 2 drinks. What about it? I'm just being hydrated. You should too. Go drink some water. Take your meds. Eat. Be good. We are going to use a wooden spoon to cream together our butter and sugar until it is combined and is a light pale color. So here's what it looks like so far. Okay, so now we're going to add our... Oh shit. So now we're going to add our eggs one at a time. Now, like I said before, I don't have eggs, so I'm going to be using the baking soda and vinegar. But if you're adding your eggs, doing one at a time is the best way to do it. And then stirring in till it's just combined. Please do not overstir it. And I had to put baking only on it because my mom keeps taking the baking soda and putting it somewhere, and then I don't know where it is. So, baking only baking soda, and she has her baking soda. Now, if you are following along and actually using the baking soda and vinegar that I'm doing, it is 1 tablespoon of white vinegar or apple cider vinegar to 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And just like usual, you put one measurement in, mix it, put another measurement in, mix it. And the 1 tablespoon to 1 teaspoon ratio is for 1 egg. So you need to do this 4 times for 4 eggs. If you're doing times 2. If you're doing times 1, then just do it 2 times for 2 eggs. So how was your day? Mine was definitely quite interesting. I wouldn't say it was a good day, but banana bread is definitely going to help it be a better day. You know, it's just one of those days. You gotta bake to feel better. I like baking to feel better. I find it very calming to bake. A lot of people would find baking or cooking stressful. I don't find that because, I mean, I'm pretty good at cooking and baking. So, like, I've always been, like, a pretty good cook, and I've been baking and cooking since I was probably, like, 5 or younger, because me and my mom would love to bake together. Our favorite thing to bake together was banana bread, and, or ginger snap cookies around the holidays. It just really was always nice baking with her and spending time with her. We have, like, a really good relationship, which I'm very happy to have a good relationship with my mom, because not everyone always has a good relationship with their parents, and sometimes I kind of just feel bad that not everyone is able to have such a good relationship with their parents, like how I have a good relationship with my mom, because when I came out as trans, it was, like, very nice to see her support me, and to have her by my side through my journey, and to help me after I went through top surgery, because that was a lot to handle, but she's been pulling through it as well. She doesn't, obviously she's sometimes upset about losing her daughter, but how I've, like, kind of explained it to her is, yes, you're losing your daughter, but you're gaining a son. But, I mean, obviously, maybe she didn't want 2 sons, but she wanted a daughter and a son. But now that she has 2 sons, I'm glad to know that she's still proud of me, and she loves me just as much as she loved her daughter. So, I'm happy for that. Anyways, I'm done putting in my substitute for my 4 eggs. So, next we're going to add in a bit of vanilla. So I usually put in a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. Since I'm doubling it, I'm going to do 2/4. So add that into your butter, sugar, and egg mixture. It's not a required step, but I find smelling the vanilla while baking makes you feel better about baking. It doesn't do anything for what you're baking, but makes you feel good. If you like the smell of vanilla like I do, like, I would be snorting this shit. It smells so good. Delicious. Alright, so now this is where you add in your mashed bananas. So, do that now, and then stir just until combined. Yes, I was one of those very fortunate people to actually have, like, a pretty supportive family as to when I came out. But that doesn't always mean that everyone in my family was supportive. At the time, I had a stepdad, and he was not supportive really at all. He actually straight up looked at me, like, in the eyes and said, "I will never see you as a boy, and you will always be a girl in my eyes." And obviously, like, I was basically thinking about that, because, like, it was just, like, the most horrible thing you could say to a teenager at the time, where they, like, actually trusted you enough to tell you what was going on in their life, and they didn't get the support that they were looking for. Like, it's quite annoying to me that, you know, things going on in the US about, like, the gender affirming gear not being covered, or even some trans people having to, like, reverse the surgeries that they've already had. Like, my heart just really goes out to them, because, like, these surgeries have been, like, life-saving to people who came out as trans or as non-binary, and, like, some of them just, like, really would not be here if they hadn't gotten the surgery. Like, I actually was having trouble with mental health when I came out as trans to my family because of my stepdad not being supportive of it and not giving me the support that I kind of wanted from him. And I had to go to the hospital twice, and the second time I went, I finally actually got the help I needed. I got put on anxiety and depression meds, and I am doing so much better now, obviously. I've gotten my top surgery. I've been on testosterone for about 2 years now. I haven't been on it recently, though, because I just don't have the money to buy it. So, and I used to have coverage, but, things happen with specific other things, and sometimes just things don't always go your way. But when you can do something and make things go your way, do it. Unless you're not in a safe environment that you can do it, get into a safe environment, feel safe, and do what you need to do to survive and then thrive. And yes, I also have a sibling, and he was very supportive about me coming out as trans, and he was the very first person I actually told because I am very close to him, and we're one of the kind of lucky families that have like really good bonds with each other. Like, I have such a good bond with my brother that we have only had like 3 big fights throughout our lifetime, and like, I'm so happy that like he supported me through everything. Like, when I told him that I wanted to go by he him pronouns, and like I was thinking I was trans and stuff like that, the first thing he said to me was, I accept you how you are, and I would be honored to call you my brother. And that was so meaningful to me. It was just really what I wanted to hear at that moment. As for when I was trying to convince my mom to change my name into something that I felt suited me better, she just didn't fully get as to why I wanted to pick my own name, and to ask her if she would be okay if I changed my name. Like, obviously she wouldn't want me to change my name, but have like abbreviation of the names that I already have. But I went by an abbreviation of my middle name for quite a while when I actually first came out as non-binary and then switched over to being trans. And the best way that I was able to explain to my mom as to why I wanted to change my name and as to why I wanted to pick my name as to what I feel would suit me best is I explained to her it was like I was making a puzzle. Like, my life was a puzzle. And there was just one puzzle piece that was missing right then and there. And that was for me to have my own name. And that actually got through to her quite well. And she let me change my name into what I wanted it to be. So, like, if you're having trouble getting your parent or parents to let you change your name, just try and explain it to them, like, how they would be able to relate to it. Like even use the puzzle thing that I used. Like, tell them your life is like a puzzle and you're just missing a couple of pieces that you just can't find yet. But when you do find them, they fit perfectly into where you want them to go. Alright, so this is what my banana mixture is looking like so far. So, we are now going to move on to our dry mixture. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to grab our smaller bowl, and we're going to start on our dry mixture. Alright, so we're going to put 4 cups of flour into here if you're doubling it. If you're doing only a normal amount, not a stupid crazy amount, just do 2 cups of flour into your smaller bowl. Next, for the normal recipe, 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. If you are doing a doubled recipe, that would be 2 teaspoons of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Some people may wonder, what is the difference between baking powder and baking soda? Baking powder has a usually mixture of baking soda, cornstarch, and cream of tartar. That's usually what most baking powders are a mixture of. As for baking soda is just sodium bicarbonate, I think I said that correctly. And yeah, so they are both leavening agents, but if you don't have baking soda, you can actually just add more baking powder, and I think you add like twice the amount of baking powder if you don't have baking soda. I would double check Google though, because yes, I am a baker and I have done it before because, like I've said before, my baking soda has been stolen from me before. But like, if you really, like, just can't get baking soda, you can use baking powder instead, because it has baking soda in it. So, like, you can just use more of it, and then it should be fine. The exact measurement as to how much you need to, or how much more you need to use of it is not quite in my brain right now, because I don't always keep specific information in my brain. So, now that we have the baking powder and baking soda in our bowl with our flour, we are going to add a half teaspoon of salt if you're doing the normal recipe. If you're doing times 2, it'll be 1 teaspoon of salt. And then after that, we're going to stir until just combined. Here's something you should do when you're baking with salt that looks like this. Never measure it over your bowl. Use a cup that you've already used and that you're not going to use later, or measure it over the sink, because this little thing can be very unpredictable, and it can just make a waterfall of salt go straight into your bowl. So that's why you don't want to measure it over your bowl. So we're going to measure it over the cup, and like I did, I spilt it everywhere. That's why I don't measure it over my bowl. Yeah, so now I have more salt in here. All right. So now that our salt is added in, we are going to stir until just combined, and then we are going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. If you are ever struggling with, like, mental health or things like that, like, I know things are pretty bad in the US, but I'm in Canada, so things are just only really kind of slightly better here. But as to where I live in Canada, there's actually a hospital that you don't have to stay there for, like, weeks at a time if you're having, like, a mental illness or, like, mental episode kind of thing. Really, like, you can just stay there for a day if you need to, like, even 2 days, just to, like, get away from, like, all the stressful things that could be going on in your life, and then just, like, kind of walk out the next day, or really whenever you need to, or whenever you feel like you are, like, stable enough to be able to leave and be by yourself. Like, if you're having, like, bad thoughts, or if you're needing help with those thoughts, obviously, like, therapy is a good thing to look into. As to where I am, I have, like, a LGBTQ kind of based, health center that helps with, well, just really helps youth and adults, who are in need, or when they need to be, like, to talk to someone, or, like, for gender affirming stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, so you don't want to add all your dry ingredients all at once. You want to do 1/3 mix in, 2/3 mix in, and then your last third. And the reason you do that is so that you don't just completely, like, dry out your batter right away, and it's also so that, like, you get the right consistency that you want. So yeah. As for how to mix it in, you can stir it with a whisk. You can also use a wooden spoon if you don't have a whisk. But a whisk is just easier to get everything combined a bit faster, I think. But obviously, if you don't have a whisk, like, you can use a wooden spoon. You can also use a electric whisk, but you ideally don't want to overmix your batter. So I would suggest, like, just hand whisking it, because it really won't take long to hand whisk your flour into your batter. So yeah, that's a bit of a tip. But anyways, if you are, like, needing someone to talk to, and, like, you don't really have the capabilities or resources as to be able to go to therapy, like, a lot of people just don't have the money for therapy, which is completely understandable. Like, therapy can actually be quite expensive, which is kind of annoying, because quite a lot of people need therapy, and they don't do therapy because they just can't afford it. But as for being in Canada, there is, like, a website that I know of in my city that, like, specifically will give you, like, low-income therapy. Like, you can get therapy for as low as, like, $5. As for, like, other countries or, like, other places, I'm not fully sure as to, like, if there's any low-income places for therapy or stuff like that. But, yeah, at least from where I am, I know the resources that are, that I can use or that I can suggest to people if they need it. But in all doubt, like, if you just really need someone to talk to and just, like, don't want to be alone in, like, your own thoughts, look up your local suicide hotline, and they can talk to you for hours if you need to just have someone to talk to, like, just to feel better, or just to, like, get some advice, and they might even be able to tell you some resources as to how to get some therapy for less money, or like, how to kind of prevent anything unideal from happening. You don't have to be having those thoughts alone. If you can talk to someone, definitely go for it. And you don't have to you don't have to be in that crisis to be able to call the hotline. Like, anyone who is having not the best day can call that hotline if they need to. And maybe if, like, your hotline is only specifically for, like, the prevention of unaliving, then I would say ask them if there is any mental health hotlines that you can call. I know there is a mental health hotline that you can call. I just don't know if it's only specifically for my country or for my city kind of thing. But you can also look it up. Like, if you're in the manic episode and you're able to, like, at least think straight enough for a few seconds to be able to look up what the number is, or, like, do it beforehand, like, before you're even in a manic episode, and just have it ready for when you may need it. Alright, so my batter is ready, and we are now going to preheat our oven to 350, and then we are going to grease up the pans that we want to use. Grease them up as much as you want to. Just don't over grease them, but also don't under grease them. Like, do, like, it kind of sounds stupid to say a normal amount, because not many people would obviously know, like, what could be a normal amount, but, like, just to where everything, like, every square inch of that pan is coated, and it could be like a medium to thin layer of butter if you're using butter, or if you're using a spray, then, like, just do a few spritz. Just a bit about me. Like, we've already talked, like, quite a bit now about mental health, and it's actually quite important to me that people get the help that they need. But how I see it is just, if you're wanting the help, then get the help. But again, about me, as you've heard previously, I'm trans, trans man to be specific, so female to male. If you're a trans woman, it would have been male to female. A lot of people will say, like, M to F for male to female, which not a lot of people always know the abbreviations for that kind of thing. But like, to the ones who do, like, you can always educate people if they don't know. At least as long as you're educating them as to where they, like, if they're asking for the information, like, don't just, like, be like, oh yeah, so just so you're aware, but like not just, like, pushing your knowledge onto them, because pushing your knowledge onto other people is just sometimes annoying, honestly. Like, such as some people who are into, like, Christian religion, they sometimes push their beliefs onto other people, which can get annoying to specific people. As for me, I'm a pagan, so I'm not Christian, basically almost the opposite of a Christian. And no, paganism is not just for, you know, saying that you worship the devil, because that's not actually usually that's not usually the thing that all pagan people, like, believe in and or worship. Most will usually pick Norse god or a Greek god. The most popular ones are usually Odin or Loki. Usually most of the time, Odin is the more popular one in Norse religion. But, like, At least that's what I've seen. Like, I could be also completely off of what I've seen from other people who are Norse or pagan. But, yeah, so, like, obviously I do still celebrate Christmas and stuff like that. But, like, since my family are Christians, like, I wouldn't just go up and be like, hey, happy Yule, kind of thing. But, like, I would still just, like, say happy holidays or usually Merry Christmas, I would say as well. But I usually do appreciate when people say happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas, because I've actually had a few people where I've said, like, happy holidays to them, and then they just go, no, Merry Christmas, kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, but, like, yeah, because, again, not everyone celebrates Christmas. Like, there is so many different religions and then their own holiday around Christmas, like Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, etc. I don't really know more than that. I just know what I believe in and know a few beliefs of others, but that doesn't mean I know everything in the world, obviously. Because if someone had the knowledge to the world, if someone had the key to all the knowledge in the world, they would still feel lonely in their own company. And they wouldn't know what to do with the knowledge. They wouldn't know, like, how to save the climate or how to make political people stop being fucking assholes. You know, simple stuff like that. Alright, I am done greasing my pants, so I used butter and a little brush that we have. And so I'm going to pour my batter in until it is just about right here. So, like, not fully, do not fill your pan all the way to the top. Fill it to where it's like maybe 3/4 full. I'll show you in a sec. So this is about as full as you want to go for it. I also greased the sides of it just in case it did go up over the sides. So yeah, that's just about where you want to fill it to, and then you just smooth it out with a spatula. I feel like also educating people about, like, things that they may not know or just don't really fully understand is also, like, a good thing to do as a YouTuber sometimes. Like, as long as you're not being, like, aggressive about it. Like, if you're being, like, the vegan teacher, like, that's a bit too much and a bit too much in, like, people's faces about, you know, just about being vegan. Like, she's really just very aggressive when she really doesn't need to be aggressive about it. But then she also thinks that, like, being vegan is the only option for everyone in the world. Like, obviously there are some vegans like that and not just vegan teacher, but, like, I find most vegans who, like, have seen the vegan teacher have just really not liked her at all, and have really just said that, like, they don't agree with what she's been doing, what she's been saying, and, like, just not really liking her all in all style of how she educates people, or even how she goes at people about having to be vegan because it's the least they can do, or, like, stuff like that. Like, honestly, some people just are really, I wouldn't say attention seekers. Sometimes they are. Like, if they're doing, like, rage bait, then that's definitely attention seeking. But, like, I would say that actually quite a few people who are vegan would say that the vegan teacher might actually be, like, rage bait for them, or for quite a few people. Like, I don't think she actually does it on purpose, though, either, though, that she is rage bait, but, like, at least to me, or, like, a few people who just really do not understand as to why she has to be so aggressive, or, like, or just, like, I don't know, just so not understanding as to why people don't want to be vegan, like, is just kind of rage bait, honestly. Like, it's just annoying sometimes. But, like, a few people have also, like, tried to expose her, and, like, with the Crayola markers that she uses, because Crayola isn't actually fully vegan. They also, like, think that she should have her dog taken away from her, which I kind of honestly agree with, because her dog's just not doing the best, honestly. Like, dogs are meant to have meat in their diet. Like, having a vegan diet for your dog is just kind of putting them almost through tragedy. Like, it could honestly be, like, a form of abuse, which I'm not for. I don't like that. Anyways, I got my batter in my pans. I thought it was going to go a bit a bit further than I thought it did. So I have these two greased as well, but I don't have enough batter for those two, which is fine. I am just going to put a little bit of water in the bottom of that then, so then everything stays nice and humid. And we're going to put our banana bread into the oven for an hour, at least for the big one. You want to keep that one in for an hour. For these little ones, I might put them in for maybe 45 minutes and then check them. And if they're needing longer, then I might let them stay in for like the full hour. But again, also everyone's oven is different, so I couldn't tell you if yours would be finished faster or not as fast. So just keep an eye on it, like check in once in a while. And once you insert a toothpick and it comes out clean, then it's done. Take it out. Alright, so now that it's in the oven, you clean up your messes that you may have made and go relax until your timer goes off or until you decide to check on it. Just try not to forget it.
Who made this big mess? Me?
Alright, and here's what the finished products look like. They turned out pretty good looking, I think. So now I'm going to let them sit for 10 minutes before I take them out of the pan, and I can either slice them or just put them into Tupperware and put them in the fridge. Or you can also freeze them if you want to. So I got one of my mini loaves, and I'm going to try it and see how it tastes. Very good. It has a nice crunch on the top. It does taste a little bit different than if I normally would use eggs with this. The texture is slightly different. But other than that, it tastes pretty good, and it tastes just about the same as when I normally make banana bread, and it's like still pretty squishy and soft. So it's pretty good. I'm probably gonna put some butter on this and then finish it. But before I do that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my video. If you ever want to see more of me, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell notification so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.